Hello folks, so I guess you're here for another recipe, huh? Of course you're here for another recipe. Well, that's good, because I've got another recipe for you. Raise your hand if you've eaten at Red Lobster. Now, raise your hand if you enjoy the biscuits that they serve for free before your meal as the most awesome part of eating at Red Lobster. Yeah, me too, until you find out there's 16 grams of carbs in one of those biscuits and tell me truthfully that you're only going to eat one of those biscuits, because nobody eats just one of those biscuits. I certainly don't, but don't fret. You know what this channel's all about. How do you make your favorite foods low carb? And guess what? You can make that Cheddar Bay biscuits low carb. Really low carb, in fact. This is only about 2 grams of net carbs. But you don't want to hear me talk forever, right? You want to know how to make this? Okay, fine. We'll get to the recipe right now. We're going to start off by preheating our oven to about 400 to 450 degrees. And our ingredients will be almond flour, a no-carb protein powder, butter, salt or a salt substitute, garlic powder, cheddar cheese, medium, sharp or extra sharp, your choice, baking powder, and 2 eggs. We're going to need our mixing bowl and our measuring utensils and a cheese grater if you're going to grate the cheddar cheese yourself. We're going to start off by microwaving our butter. This is unsalted butter, about 1 cup worth. That is about 1.5 sticks of butter. And while the butter is melting in the microwave, we're going to grate our cheddar cheese, which is about 1 cup worth. It's about 1/4 block of cheese. This is just a pre-prep, just to get this out of the way and ready for when we start adding the ingredients together. See, about 1 cup. Now that the butter is melted, we should let it cool for just a couple minutes, because we're going to add in our eggs, and we don't want the eggs to cook when they hit that hot butter. Crack in both eggs. I'm going to use this electric beater to beat the eggs and the butter together. Now, you could do this by hand as well. I'm just using this to make it a little quicker and easier. And when you're done, it should be smooth and creamy just like this. Now we're going to take our cheese and the butter and set it aside. And we're going to start putting in our dry ingredients. We're going to start with the almond flour. For this batch, we're going to put in 3 cups of almond flour. This is going to make a pretty big batch, folks. Next, we're going to bring in our protein powder and put in 1 scoop of the protein powder. The baking powder is going to get 1/2 tablespoon. The salt or salt substitute is also going to get 1/2 tablespoon. For the garlic powder, we're going to go with 2 full tablespoons. Now I'm just going to use this whisk to mix all the dry ingredients together, get the clumps out, and get everything incorporated really nice and well. Now you can just use a fork or a spoon. I'm just using this to make it a little easier. Once the dry ingredients are all mixed together, we're going to put in our egg and butter mixture. Our 1 cup of cheddar cheese. Make sure we get all of it out because, you know, no cheese gets left behind here. And then we're just going to mix everything together to make our batter. This will take a couple of minutes. Good news is, if you're trying to burn calories before you eat these, this is a good way to do it. When you're done, this should be about the consistency. You should be able to make about 12 large biscuits with this, or about 14 medium-sized ones. To bake these, I'm going to use a cellophane baking sheet instead of wax paper, because nothing sticks to these cellophane sheets. And I mean nothing. If you saw my video about making the maple cinnamon donuts, yeah, I will never ever use anything but these cellophane sheets from now on when I bake. So anyway, we're going to lay these out across the sheet. You want to give a little bit of room between each one so that they don't bake together when they're in the oven. For this batch, I went with the medium size. So I have a few extra that I'm going to cook on another sheet. They're going to go in the oven, and they're going to cook for about 12 to 18 minutes. While they're cooking, it's time to make the butter spread that's going to go on top. I'm going to use a salted butter just to make life easier and melt it in the microwave. And once the biscuits are ready and out, and while they're still pretty warm and hot, I'm going to add the salted butter on top. That way it's going to absorb that butter, and oh, these are going to be so buttery. Now we're going to add some parsley on top. It's not really for flavor. This is more just for an aesthetic choice. And there you have it. Cheddar Bay biscuits, just like you can get at Red Lobster. And like I said before, I'm never going to promise you're going to love something, but at the very least, you can say, these look really freaking good. I mean, just look at that. Just look at that. Okay, seriously, like, tell me that you just don't want to, like, jump to the screen and eat this, like, right now, because if you don't, well, you don't, but, you know, just saying. Cheddar Bay biscuits are one of my favorite things when going to Red Lobster. Now, obviously, it's not that I'm going there just for the biscuits, but when they're free and you can eat as many as you want, as long as they keep serving them, you kind of eat as many as you want. Well, with these, you can, well, at least on the carb level, you could definitely eat as many as you want. I am going to suggest you probably don't go nuts on them because, you know, the calorie count's still a little bit up there. But if you want to eat two, it's not a big deal because it's not going to kill your carb count. Two with your meal is only netting you 4 grams of carbs. So if you don't mind, let me eat in peace this time. You had to watch me eat my donut last time. You just I'm hungry, okay? Oh, yeah, this. You're still watching me. Your mom tells you not to eat with your mouth full, but you're still watching me, so fair game. See you in the next video, guys.